Commander Ryan stood quietly in the observation room, staring through the thick glass wall. On the other side, the strange creature rested on a soft metallic floor. Its skin held faint lines that glowed like tiny rivers of starlight, flowing slowly under the surface. The room was silent, but the memory was loud inside his mind. Only one cycle ago, he had reached out to pet the creature, thinking it was harmless. It had looked small, shy, nervous, and almost gentle, but the moment his hand got close, the creature had growled, deep and cold, and that sound felt like something old, something ancient. That growl held more than anger. It carried warning, history, and emotion that humans could not easily understand. The sound echoed in his thoughts again and again, like he was still standing there. The exploration vessel Aurora's Promise drifted calmly through silent space, its engines humming at a soft rhythm. The ship was built for peaceful missions. It carried scientists, scholars, explorers, and historians. Their goal was knowledge, not conflict. But after this encounter, many on board felt uneasy. They were now responsible for something they did not understand. The creature had been found floating near a quiet moon, surrounded by fragments of an ancient metallic circle. Sensors detected life, but nothing else. They rescued it because a life was a life. They placed it in a peaceful habitat, gave it clean water, gentle light, and warm air. For a full day, it simply watched them with bright, intelligent eyes. No one expected the shocking growl. Dr. Ilara, the ship's lead xenobiologist, watched from behind Ryan now. Her voice was calm and thoughtful. "It has not moved much since the incident," she said softly, "but its energy readings are rising. Something is happening inside it, maybe awakening." Ryan nodded. He did not want to admit it, but the growl had unsettled him. It was not just a sound. It was spoken in a language older than their oldest records, older than the first human ships. He felt like the creature spoke to something deep inside him, something that whispered danger. Captain Mora entered the room with heavy steps. She was strong, wise, and respected by the entire crew. Her expression was serious but not angry. "We must treat this carefully," she said. "We do not harm it. We observe, we learn, and we respect." Many agreed. The crew was curious. Some feared the unknown. Others felt inspired by the idea that the galaxy still held mysteries. The creature stirred at that moment. It lifted its head and looked around the room as if sensing their presence beyond the glass. Its eyes were dark and shimmering like polished stone. Its tail curled around its legs. The glowing patterns under its skin brightened softly, then faded. Everyone watching felt like the creature knew more than it showed. Life on Aurora's Promise continued, but whispers spread through the hallways. Crew members talked quietly during meals, wondering what the creature truly was. Some believed it came from an ancient civilization. Others thought it might be a survivor of a forgotten war. A few worried it might call others like itself. Commander Ryan walked through the long metallic corridor, feeling the slight vibrations from the ship's engines. Crew members gave him polite greetings, but he noticed their worried eyes. He reached the briefing room where screens showed stars, data charts, and recorded audio from the creature's growl. The sound was played again. Everyone in the room listened. The growl echoed out of the speakers, low and rumbling. Even recorded, it carried power. A cold feeling touched everyone's hearts. Dr. Ilara pointed at the screen. "There is structure inside this growl," she explained. "Patterns, peaks, rhythm. It is not random. It is language." The room fell silent. Language. That meant intelligence, communication, history. Tech Officer Nyler leaned forward. "If that is language, we can translate it," he said, slowly, carefully, but we can. Captain Mora folded her arms. "We will attempt understanding, but we will not force anything." Ryan took a deep breath, remembering the moment the creature looked at him. He felt like it spoke directly into his thoughts. Maybe the growl was not just warning. Maybe it was asking something. Hours later, Ryan returned to the observation room alone. The lights were dim, giving the space a calm and quiet mood. Stars outside the window twinkled like tiny crystals, each carrying secrets. The creature sat upright now, watching him calmly. Its eyes seemed brighter, almost curious. Ryan spoke softly through the intercom. "I am sorry if I scared you. I did not want to cause fear." The creature tilted its head. Its ears twitched. Ryan continued, careful, slow. "We only want to help. If you can understand us, please show us something peaceful." For a long moment, the creature was still, Then the glowing patterns under its skin slowly changed shape. Lines curved, formed circles, and repeated rhythms. They matched star charts that human explorers used long ago. Ryan recognized shapes, distant star clusters, nebulae, old trade routes. Dr. Alara suddenly rushed in. Those patterns. Those are maps, she whispered. Maps from different ages. Some are older than our oldest records. The creature stopped glowing and lowered its head as if tired. It took a slow breath. It is communicating through memory, Alara said, amazed. Ryan felt a chill. This creature was not just old. It carried knowledge from civilizations humans had never met. Later in the communal dining area, the tension softened. Crew members shared warm food, exchanged theories, and laughed softly to ease the worry. Space exploration often brought fear but also wonder. They respected both. Ryan sat at a quiet table staring at his cup of steaming tea. Lieutenant Sarah joined him. You look heavy, she said with a small smile. Just thinking, Ryan replied, about the growl. Yes, it felt alive, like it held centuries. Sarah looked toward the window where distant stars drifted past. This galaxy is huge, she said. There must be languages older than we can imagine. We cannot be the first to explore, Ryan nodded. That thought made him feel small but also proud. Humanity was still learning. Back in the laboratory, Dr. Alara studied sound waves of the growl. She traced patterns, noted rising peaks, and watched how emotional tone changed inside the wave itself. It used sadness. She whispered to herself. The growl had sadness in it. The creature was not angry. It was afraid. She turned to Captain Mora. It did not want to hurt us. It wanted to stop us from doing something. It warned us, Captain Mora frowned thoughtfully. Warned? About what? Alara pointed at the star map patterns. These stars faded long ago. Something happened there. Something dangerous. The captain looked through the glass at the creature, which rested calmly on the floor. We need to understand, she said softly, before we go further. Meanwhile, deep inside the ship, engineers checked shields, thrusters, and communication systems. If there was danger hidden among the stars, they wanted to be ready. They trained, studied, upgraded, and prepared constant watch rotations. Not out of fear, but responsibility. As the cycle neared its end, Commander Ryan returned once more to the observation room. He stood quietly, hands behind his back. The creature slowly approached the glass. It placed one small paw against it. Ryan felt a strange warmth through the barrier. The glowing patterns brightened again, forming the shape of a curved line. Ryan recognized it immediately. That line represented protection in ancient star records. You protect, he whispered. Your growl was a warning to protect. The creature blinked slowly. Its tail moved gently across the floor. For the first time, Ryan saw trust in its eyes. Not complete trust, but enough to begin. Hope formed between them like a quiet bridge. Captain Mora watched from the shadows of the doorway. She smiled lightly. Maybe, she whispered to herself. We have found something more than history. She turned away, leaving them alone. Ryan and the creature continued their silent communication. Outside, stars drifted across the dark horizon. The ship sailed toward a future filled with secrets and stories. Humanity had stepped into a chapter older than anyone expected. And somewhere far away, ancient forces shifted quietly, waiting. The first growl was not the end. It was only the beginning. Soft blue lights glowed inside the main research chamber of the Aurora's Promise. Screens hovered around Dr. Alara as she gently adjusted the display panels. Commander Ryan stood nearby, watching the slow movements of the mysterious creature behind the observation glass. It moved with calm curiosity now, no longer growling or hiding. Its glowing patterns had become steadier, more controlled. Over the last cycle, the crew had learned something simple but important. The creature never reacted with fear when the ship's star charts were projected near its room. Instead, its breathing slowed and its eyes softened, as if remembering something long lost. Captain Mora entered the chamber quietly. She glanced at the creature, then at her officers. Are we ready to begin? She asked. Dr. Alara nodded. Yes, Captain. We will project old star maps today. Starting with the charts from our earliest exploration records. The creature might respond, the projection device activated. Dots of light floated into the air, connecting into shapes that marked constellations. The room filled with a gentle glow like a miniature galaxy spinning silently. The creature looked up. Its patterns brightened as the constellation shifted. Slowly, it tapped one claw against the observation floor. Tap, tap, tap. Ryan leaned forward. It's repeating something we saw yesterday. Some of those taps match older star cluster recordings. Ilara recorded every beat, every pause. There is rhythm, she said quietly. Like a message or a memory. The creature turned away from one cluster and growled softly, almost sadly, at another. The crew stared, confused. Why sadness? Mora narrowed her eyes. It does not want us to go there, she whispered. Ryan felt the same. The creature's growl was not a threat. It was a warning. In that moment, he felt his own heartbeat match the creature's tapping pattern. Something about those stars held danger. Hours passed as the research continued. The creature showed more reaction when ancient charts were projected, charts that even humans considered incomplete. It traced lines with its tail, forming patterns that connected distant systems once believed unrelated. Look at that, Nyler said, pointing at the hologram. Those paths look like travel routes, but they're not human. Ilara zoomed in on the shapes. These lines are smooth, not jagged. That means the travel was safe, controlled, and frequent. Whoever traveled this path did it often. Captain Mora crossed her arms. So this creature was part of something large, possibly from a network of civilizations. No one spoke for a moment. Rian finally asked, "Then why is it the only one left?" Silence settled over the room like dust. In the cafeteria, crew members whispered about their theories. Some believed the creature was a guardian. Others suggested it was a map itself, alive with history. A few wondered if this discovery would bring new alliances or dangerous enemies. Lieutenant Sarah sat with a steaming tray, watching the stars drift across the transparent ceiling above her. She thought about all the stories humanity told itself. Heroes, explorers, protectors. Maybe the creature was one of them. Commander Ryan joined her. "You look thoughtful," he said. "I'm thinking about how much we don't know," Sarah replied. "Every star could hold a story, and maybe this creature remembers too many of them." Ryan appreciated her thoughtful nature. "What worries me is the sadness we saw earlier. Something happened out there." Sarah nodded. "Yes, something old." Back in the research chamber, Dr. Ilara made a discovery. She replayed the creature's tapping patterns and overlaid them with ancient records. She gasped. "These rhythmic patterns match old warnings found in ruins across 3 galaxies," she explained to Captain Mora. "Warnings of energy storms, cosmic waves strong enough to drain." "Stars!" Captain Mora's face hardened. "Draining stars? Is that even possible?" Ilara shrugged softly. "We do not know, but the patterns match. Whoever built those ruins wanted others to stay away." Ryan approached the screen. "So this creature is warning us about those old routes," he said. "It growled at that constellation. That area might be dangerous," Mora nodded slowly. "Then we must avoid it until we know more. The safety of the crew comes first." The creature was quiet throughout the night cycle. It sat gently near the wall, staring at tiny lights flickering across the floor panels. Ryan visited the observation area again, feeling drawn to it. He spoke softly through the intercom. "We hear you. We are trying to understand." The creature blinked once, then twice. Its glowing lines changed, forming a spiral pattern. It placed both paws on the ground, making 2 marks. "Spiral. 2 marks," Ryan repeated the shape with his hand on the glass. "2 spirals," he whispered. "2 storms?" The creature's eyes widened slightly. It nodded once, slowly, sadly. Rian felt his chest tighten. More than one danger existed out there. Captain Mora ordered a full data review. Old star records were checked, ancient archives scanned, and lost maps decoded. The more they learned, the more they realized how young humanity truly was among the stars. Some star clusters shown in the creature's memories were now empty. Their light was dimmer than historical records. Something had weakened them. Nyler called Ryan from the communication station. "You need to see this," Nyler said. When Ryan arrived, the screen showed recordings from a star system studied decades ago. Their old ships had detected strange readings, energy waves sweeping across dark space. Small at first, harmless, but then they faded away, forgotten, dismissed. "It matches the creature's warning patterns," Nyler said quietly. Ryan stared at the data. "We almost entered one of those areas during our last mission." Nyler nodded slowly. "And if we did, we might not be here." The realization felt heavy. The creature had saved them without moving a muscle. Later, the crew gathered in the observation deck to watch another projection, this time showing star charts across many centuries. The hologram grew larger and larger until it filled the entire room. When the creature saw it, its patterns glowed brighter than ever before. It walked slowly along the glass wall, pressing its forehead against it. Its energy reading surged. "It recognizes something," Alara whispered. Suddenly, the creature tapped the surface rapidly, forming shapes with its claws. Lines connected across the map. Captain Mora saw it clearly, a warning route. A path circling around dangerous zones. "So that's how ancient explorers traveled safely," Mora said. They followed the creature's race. The creature paused, then placed its paw on a single bright star near the edge of the hologram. Its eyes softened. A soft hum escaped its chest. The room went silent. "Home," Alara whispered. "That must be its home world." But as the screen zoomed in, the star dimmed. "No," Ryan whispered. "That star has lost energy." The creature looked down, tail curling close to its body. Its patterns flickered weakly. Home was gone. Ilara's voice cracked gently. Its home world might have been lost to these cosmic storms. Everyone felt their hearts drop. The creature was alone not by chance, but by survival. In the following cycle, Captain Mora called a ship-wide assembly. Her voice echoed through every corridor. "Crew of Aurora's Promise, we have learned of ancient dangers hidden among the stars. We will use the creature's guidance, but we must remain cautious. We are not alone in this galaxy." Crew members stood together, united in curiosity and respect. After the announcement, Sarah approached Rian. "Do you think we can help it?" she asked softly. Rian watched the creature sleeping behind the glass. "I do not know," he answered, "but we can try. And maybe that's enough." As the ship drifted onward, deeper records were unlocked. They discovered symbols matching the creature's glowing patterns. Historians worked through the cycle, translating star language bit by bit. Words began to form. Guard, protect, warning, memory, storm. With each translation, the picture became clearer. The creature's race was once ancient protectors. They traveled between stars, guiding young species away from danger. They warned civilizations, shared knowledge, and helped them survive cosmic changes. Now, only one remained. During the quiet hours, Ryan sat cross-legged near the glass wall. The creature approached him gently. Its patterns glowed softly, no longer bright with energy, but warm with trust. "You are not alone anymore," Ryan whispered. "We will learn your star language. We will respect your memories." The creature closed its eyes and pressed its forehead against the glass. Ryan placed his hand there too, separated only by a thin barrier. In that moment, something passed between them. Not words, but understanding. Two worlds sharing a silent promise. Outside, the stars drifted slowly. Ancient storms waited in the dark. But aboard Aurora's Promise, hope glowed brighter than fear. The creature opened one eye and tapped the glass once. A simple message. Continue. It was ready to teach, and humanity was ready to learn. Alarms did not sound. Lights did not flash. There was no dramatic warning across the ship. But everyone aboard Aurora's Promise felt something in the air. It was a quiet tension, like space itself held its breath. The creature had stopped glowing. Commander Ryan noticed first. During morning cycle, he walked into the observation room and froze. The creature sat still in the center, eyes half closed, patterns dim. Its breathing was slow and heavy. Dr. Alara rushed in moments later. Her tablet scanned the creature's energy levels and her eyebrows tightened. "It is weakening," she whispered. Captain Mora entered behind them, voice firm. "Why? What changed?" Alara looked at the holographic star charts on the wall. Yesterday, the creature had tapped a pattern at them, one that matched a certain star system with fading light. It had become upset, sad, tired. Maybe remembering caused stress. Rian spoke gently through the intercom. "We are here. You are safe." The creature blinked slowly. Its glowing lines pulsed faintly like dying embers. But after a moment, one bright line pushed forward, then another. It fought its own silence. "It is trying to communicate again," Ilara said softly. Later, in the main briefing room, the crew gathered. Images of ancient symbols floated above the circular table. The creature's tapping patterns, recorded earlier, matched them. Historians, scientists, and communication officers analyzed every detail. Tech Officer Nyler pointed to a circle next to two downward spirals. These lines represent star energy dropping, like storms draining light. Captain Mora nodded slowly. We have seen signs of that in old records, but nothing recent. Ilara shook her head. I fear the danger is not gone. It may be alive, roaming across systems. Rian frowned. And we might be heading toward it without knowing. Sarah tapped her fingers on the table, thinking deeply. If that storm destroys stars, then traveling into its range could shut our engines down. No power, no shields, no way out. Silence filled the room. Ryan looked at the hologram again. We must learn where these storms are, and avoid them. Mora agreed. We follow the creature's guidance. Meanwhile, in engineering, the chief technician watched power fluctuations in the ship's generator. The readings dipped and recovered with unusual rhythm. This is strange, he muttered. He called Nyler. Scan for cosmic waves. Something is brushing past the hull. Nyler sent out harmless sensor pulses and watched the data return. Waves of faint radiation passed through the ship like silent wind. It matches the creature's warning, Nyler whispered. No explosion, no damage, just a silent touch, like something searching. Back in the observation room, the creature suddenly stood. Its dim patterns brightened slightly. It tapped the floor twice, slowly, warning. Then it tapped again, faster, urgency. Ryan ran closer to the glass. What is coming? Ilara recorded every sound and motion. She translated what she could. It is not the storm, she said carefully. It is something else. Something that follows. Mora's voice was steady. Explain. Ilara pressed her lips together. I believe ancient races learned the storm's path. They tried to outrun it, but something followed them, maybe to collect the remains of drained systems. Ryan's heart sank. Like scavengers. Ilara nodded. Yes, and maybe even worse. Night cycle fell across the ship. Most crew members lay quietly in their cabins trying to sleep, but many turned in their beds, eyes open. Dreams of silent storms drifting through dead systems haunted their thoughts. Commander Ryan could not sleep either. He sat at his desk watching old star maps on his tablet. The creature's patterns played again and again in his head. Its tapping rhythm echoed like ancient drums. Suddenly, he heard footsteps. Sarah stood in his doorway holding 2 cups of warm tea. You're awake, she said gently. So are you, Ryan replied with a tired smile. They drank quietly, staring through the window. Stars drifted peacefully outside, like cold candles. Do you think other species received the same warning? Sarah asked. Ryan sighed. Maybe, but if they ignored it, they are gone now. Sarah shivered. And we are next if we do not respect it. Rian nodded. The next morning cycle, something new happened. The creature walked closer to the glass and placed its paw gently against it. Its patterns changed, smooth waves moving across its body like calm water. Ilara gasped. This pattern is new. It is comforting. Indeed, the creature was no longer warning. It was calming them. Captain Mora approached the glass. Are you trying to tell us to slow down? The creature blinked once. Ilara interpreted. We should not rush into unknown space. Slow exploration means survival. Mora nodded. Understood. But suddenly the creature stiffened. Its patterns darkened again. It growled softly, not angry, but alert. Something was near. Nyler's voice echoed through the speakers. Captain, sensors detect energy waves approaching from the outer sector. Mora rushed to the control deck. Raise shields. Confirm if it is cosmic storm energy. Nyler shook his head. No storm. But something else is riding the wave. Something small, silent, waiting. Ryan felt cold run down his spine. On the observation deck, officers watched a faint shape appear on the sensors. It was not a ship or comet. It looked like a hollow ring, turning slowly in deep space. Sarah whispered, "What is that?" Nyler scanned deeply. "It absorbs light, like the drained stars. It might be collecting energy." Ryan's throat tightened. And maybe it followed the residue from older storms. Ilara connected the pattern. "That object, it has the same signature as the ruins we studied. Ancient civilizations were not only hiding from storms, they were hiding from these collectors." Mora's voice lowered. "So storms weaken systems, and these collectors gather what is left." The object drifted slowly toward them. Ryan spoke through the intercom to the creature. "What should we do?" The creature lifted its head and growled softly, the same growl as the first encounter, but weaker. The crew recognized its meaning now. Do not touch. Do not approach. Do not investigate. Captain Mora ordered the ship to change course gently, not fast enough to draw attention, but enough to slip away unnoticed. The object drifted past in silence. No sounds, no lights. It simply hovered in darkness. A cold quiet filled the control deck. "That thing is not alive," Nyler whispered, "but it is not dead either. It has purpose." Ryan watched as it faded from sensors. And maybe it has waited for thousands of years. After the danger passed, the crew gathered again in the observation room. The creature lay on the floor, tired but breathing calmly. Its patterns glowed softly again. Ilara placed her hand on the glass. "Thank you." The creature blinked slowly. Ryan asked gently, "Are there more? More collectors?" The creature tapped twice. "Yes." Then tapped 3 times. "Many." Sarah's hands shook slightly. "How do we survive something that never stops?" The creature's patterns responded with a spiral path, the safe route it showed earlier. Captain Mora made a decision. We follow that path. We learn its language completely, and we warn others. The idea inspired the entire crew. Humanity had a role now, not just exploring, but protecting others. Over the next cycles, the ship changed. New scanners were built to detect signs of drained stars. New shields were programmed to resist faint waves. Training increased, but there was no panic, only discipline and unity. The creature began teaching deeper symbols. It tapped complicated rhythms that formed entire sentences. Historians translated slowly, piece by piece. Storm comes in waves. Collectors follow. Many worlds ignored warning. We must not. Ryan realized something important. Your race did not disappear because of one storm, he whispered, but because others did not listen. The creature's eyes softened. It nodded once. Ilara translated its final message of the cycle. Protect the young stars. Share the warning. Become guardians. Everyone stood quietly. A simple mission, but powerful. Later, in the quiet of his cabin, Ryan looked at the stars outside his window. Something new filled his heart. Not fear, but purpose. Humanity was young, yes, but youth could learn. He whispered softly to the dark, "We will not repeat old mistakes." In the observation room, the creature slept peacefully, glowing softly like a tiny galaxy. In its dreams, ancient worlds echoed silent and cold, but now maybe one would stay bright because this time, someone listened. The Aurora's promise drifted into a region of space unlike any the crew had ever seen. The stars were dim, scattered, and flickering as if struggling to shine. Nebula clouds glimmered faintly, but even their light seemed hollow. The silence of the void was heavy, pressing against the hull like a living presence. Commander Rian stood in the observation deck staring into the darkness. The creature was at his side, pacing slowly along the floor. Its glowing patterns pulsed faintly, reflecting the weak starlight outside. Dr. Ilara approached, her eyes scanning the holographic map. This region matches the patterns the creature tapped earlier. Systems here were drained long ago. Energy waves swept through, leaving silence in their wake. Captain Mora's voice broke the quiet. Keep shields at full power. Sensors, maximum sweep. We do not know what still lurks here. Nyler worked quickly at the controls. All probes are ready, Captain. I suggest we start with distant scans before moving any closer. Ryan watched the creature as it tapped softly against the glass wall. It pressed its forehead to the surface, glowing faintly, almost like it was drawing strength from their presence. He spoke softly through the intercom. We are here. Thank you for guiding us. The creature blinked slowly, then tapped in a long, curved rhythm. Ilara quickly noted it. It's pointing toward a sector deeper in the darkness. Something significant awaits there. Mora nodded. Then that's where we go. Carefully. The ship moved slowly into the dark sector. Probes were sent ahead, returning data in faint pulses. Some systems were entirely dead, their planets blackened, moons shattered, and stars barely glowing. Others showed traces of metallic structures, ancient vessels or stations fused with dust and rock. This was a network, Ilara said quietly, a civilization that traveled between stars. Look at the structure alignment, they followed precise paths. Ryan nodded, feeling a shiver down his spine. And they were all lost. Sarah joined him, her hands gripping the railing. All of them? Did the storms take everything? Ilara shook her head. Not entirely. Something followed the storms. Collectors. They swept through the remains and absorbed energy. Nothing escaped. The creature growled softly. The sound was low, almost like a sigh. Its glowing lines flickered as if mourning unseen losses. Ryan whispered, We are lucky to be alive. As the ship entered the central sector, a faint glow appeared in the distance. Nyler zoomed the sensors. It's moving. Not a storm, not a comet. Something large like a ring-shaped vessel. The object rotated slowly and faint pulses of energy radiated from it. Ilara's eyes widened. This matches the collector patterns we studied. It is alive in a sense. It feeds on drained systems, and we are in its path. Captain Mora's hand hovered over the controls. We maintain distance, we observe only. No sudden moves. The creature stepped forward, pressing its paw to the glass, glowing brighter. Its eyes focused on the object. It tapped a fast rhythm, warning of the energy collector's reach. Ryan nodded. It's guiding us. Stay calm, everyone. The ship moved with careful precision, weaving between faint energy currents. The collector drifted nearby, silent but powerful, absorbing light from distant dying stars. No sound, no radiation that could harm the ship directly, but the emptiness it left behind was suffocating. Sarah watched the screens. It's like space itself is holding its breath. Ilara nodded. And we are witnessing what no one else has survived. Hours passed as the ship navigated the dark sector. The creature remained calm but alert, glowing faintly as it guided them. Every few moments it tapped a message with its paw or tail. Ilara translated as quickly as possible. Paths clear. Avoid direct energy lines. Follow spirals. Observe quietly. The crew followed the guidance. They realized the creature's memory was more than history. It was instruction. These ancient guardians once led travelers safely through dangerous regions. Now, only one remained. Suddenly, one of the faintly glowing planets ahead flickered. Its surface cracked with soft sparks, revealing hollow metallic fragments beneath. The ship's sensors detected energy waves dissipating slowly, remnants of the collector's previous path. Ilara's voice trembled slightly. This planet, it has been harvested. Its life extinguished long ago. Ryan's chest tightened. That could have been us if we ignored the creature's warning. The creature growled lowly, almost softly. Its eyes met Ryan's, and he felt a silent message. We protect. You survive, if you listen. The ship moved deeper, following the spirals the creature tapped out on the glass. Soon, they discovered an abandoned station. partially destroyed but still recognizable. Ancient markings covered its walls, faintly glowing from residual energy. Dr. Alara and historians aboard quickly began decoding the symbols. They told a story of warning and guidance, civilizations that had survived the early storms teaching the next generations how to navigate safely. The Guardians' work had spanned countless systems, and their lessons were hidden in star maps and symbols. This was their archive, Alara whispered. A place of memory. And we found it thanks to the creature. Captain Mora stepped forward. We must preserve it. Every symbol, every message. Humanity could learn from this knowledge. Ryan felt awe. The creature, it was part of this civilization, guiding travelers through danger. The creature's glowing lines pulsed warmly, almost as if it understood their words. It moved closer to the center of the room, pressing its head to the floor. Soft pulses of energy radiated from its body, illuminating the archive. While the crew explored the station, Ryan noticed a faint, pulsating light from a side chamber. He approached cautiously. Inside, a small sphere floated, half buried in dust. It emitted a soft hum that resonated with the creature's glow. Alara examined it. This appears to be a memory core, holding data from the Guardian civilization. It survived because of shielding, perhaps intentionally. The creature growled softly and tapped the sphere with its paw. The light responded, expanding in waves across the room. Lines of star maps formed in the air, showing safe paths and warnings. Ryan stepped back, awe on his face. It's teaching us. The Guardian's archive is alive through this creature. Captain Mora's voice was firm. We must record everything. This is knowledge beyond human history. It could save countless lives. The crew set to work, recording, scanning, and decoding. The creature guided them silently, glowing brighter whenever a new path was discovered. Its presence reminded them of the responsibility they carried. Suddenly, the hum from the memory core changed. A distant energy wave swept through the dark sector. The ship's sensors picked up faint currents, traces of a collector moving slowly along the edge of the archive. Nyler gasped. It's back. It may have sensed us. The creature growled, a low rumble that vibrated through the observation room. Its glowing lines formed a protective barrier around itself. Ryan spoke quickly. Shields to maximum. No sudden moves. Let it pass. The collector drifted past the station, ignoring the ship, but leaving an eerie emptiness behind. The crew watched in silence as it disappeared into the void. The creature relaxed slowly, glowing gently, signaling that danger had passed. Alara stepped forward. It's teaching us more than maps. It's teaching patience, caution, and respect for forces we do not fully understand. Ryan nodded. And that is the real lesson of the Guardians. Hours later, the crew gathered in the main observation chamber. The dark sector still loomed outside, but the ship was safe. The creature lay peacefully near the window, its glow faint but steady. Captain Mora addressed the crew. We have witnessed history, learned from a living archive, and survived an encounter few would believe. But our work is just beginning. We now carry responsibility, not only for ourselves but for others who may travel these paths. Ryan looked at the creature. We have a guide, a teacher, and a friend, and we must honor it. Sarah added quietly. It has given us hope where none remained. The creature blinked slowly, then tapped the glass once. A simple, deliberate rhythm, a promise to continue guiding, a promise of trust. Outside, the dim stars of the dark sector flickered. Once lifeless systems now held a faint glow of memory, preserved through the creature and the ancient archive. Humanity had witnessed both destruction and protection, and they had chosen the path of guardianship. Ryan whispered softly to himself, We will not fail. The creature pressed its head to the glass, warm and steady. Its faint glow filled the room like a small, living galaxy. The archive's memory core pulsed in response, illuminating the history of ancient protectors and guiding the ship forward. And for the first time, the dark sector felt less empty. Hope glowed quietly in the silence of the stars. The Aurora's promise drifted slowly away from the dark sector, leaving behind dim stars and the remnants of drained systems. The crew moved quietly through the ship, exhausted but alert. Each person carried the weight of what they had seen, the silent collectors, the abandoned stations, and the lessons of the ancient guardians. Commander Rian stood at the observation deck, staring at the stars. The creature walked beside him, its glowing patterns flickering softly. Unlike before, its energy seemed calm, almost serene. The growls had stopped. Now it communicated through subtle gestures, lights, and taps. Dr. Alara approached, tablet in hand. We've recorded everything from the memory core and the creature's guidance, but translating it fully will take time. Ryan nodded. We need to learn quickly. We cannot risk losing any more systems or species because of ignorance. Captain Mora entered the deck, her eyes scanning the quiet stars. We have two choices. We either continue exploration without fully understanding the risks, or we take the time to learn, prepare, and protect. The crew looked around. Many were still shaken by the sector's emptiness, but the presence of the creature gave them hope. Its glow reminded them that wisdom could survive even when civilizations vanished. Mora continued, We will not rush. We will study. We will follow the guidance of the creature and the memory core, and we will share this knowledge with others. Rian whispered softly, almost to himself, We finally have a chance to be guardians too. Over the next cycle, the crew worked tirelessly. Holographic star maps rotated above their heads, each one showing safe paths, dangerous currents, and the remnants of old collectors. The creature guided them continuously, tapping rhythms, marking spirals, and glowing at critical points. Historians worked with the memory core, deciphering messages left by the Guardian's civilization. Their language was strange, filled with symbols of stars, spirals, and light. Slowly, a story emerged, a story of duty, protection, and sacrifice. The Guardians were not warriors, Ilara explained to Ryan. They were caretakers. They preserved civilizations by guiding them away from danger. They saved worlds without ever asking for recognition. Rian nodded. And now it has chosen us to continue that mission. Sarah joined them at the hologram. It's incredible, she said. This creature has been alone for centuries, protecting memory and knowledge. And we finally understand it. The creature tapped softly against the glass, almost like it was acknowledging their realization. Its glow pulsed warmly, filling the room with quiet reassurance. As the ship prepared to leave the dark sector, sensors detected faint energy currents, remnants of the collectors. The crew moved carefully, following the spirals the creature had drawn in memory. Every movement was precise, every decision deliberate. Patience is key, Mora reminded them. Rushing leads to mistakes. Observation leads to survival. The ship glided past the last of the drained systems. Stars that had once flickered weakly now seemed steady in the distance. The emptiness of the sector was behind them, but its lessons remained. Ryan approached the creature. You have guided us well, he whispered. We are grateful for your trust. The creature blinked slowly, then tapped twice, a gesture Ryan understood as affirmation. Alara joined them. We have the records, the maps, and the teachings. Humanity now carries the knowledge of the Guardians. We must share it carefully but widely. Captain Mora's voice was firm. This is our responsibility. Not just for ourselves, but for every traveler who will follow. We must become the Guardians. The next cycles were filled with preparation. The crew updated their ship systems based on the Guardian teachings. Shields were optimized to resist faint cosmic currents. Sensors were improved to detect drained stars and collectors early. Routes through known dangerous sectors were mapped and stored. Communication protocols were created to share guidance with other exploration vessels. The creature assisted constantly, its glow pulsing with each correct pattern or safe path. Its presence reminded the crew that wisdom and experience were far more valuable than brute strength. Rian watched the creature often, fascinated by its intelligence. It had survived alone, preserving memory and knowledge, yet never sought dominance or control. It acted out of duty, patience, and care. Sarah whispered to him one evening, We could learn much more than just survival from it. We could learn responsibility, Rian nodded, and humility. Space is older than any species. We are small but capable of growth. As they traveled to safer systems, the crew encountered other ships and colonies. Many were unaware of the dangers lurking in the dark sector. Captain Mora held a briefing, presenting the knowledge gathered. The universe carries both beauty and peril, she told them. We have witnessed ancient storms and energy collectors. We have seen worlds drained of light. But we have also found guidance. Through careful observation, patience, and respect for knowledge, we can survive and protect others. The crew shared maps and teaching from the memory core, explaining the Guardian civilization's lessons. Slowly, trust grew. Humanity's role as protectors of younger species and travelers became clearer. The creature watched quietly from the observation deck, glowing softly. Its presence reminded everyone that history, memory, and vigilance could survive even the emptiest sectors of space. One quiet evening, Commander Ryan walked to the observation deck alone. The stars outside were brilliant now, scattered and vibrant. He spoke softly through the intercom. We have learned your language, your patterns, your warnings. We honor your guidance. We will continue your work, Guardian. The creature pressed its paw gently to the glass. Its glow intensified for a brief moment, filling the room with warmth. Then it tapped a slow rhythm, which Alara translated, future safe, guidance shared, memory preserved. Rian smiled. Yes, that is our mission. The weight of responsibility did not feel heavy. Instead, it was a promise. Humanity had been given knowledge older than most stars, and now it carried the chance to protect, guide, and preserve. As the ship traveled further, new systems appeared on the sensors. Vibrant stars, planets with life, and nebulae filled with energy. Each system was a reminder that space was alive, fragile, and full of stories waiting to be discovered. The creature walked along the observation deck, moving closer to Ryan and Mora. Its patterns pulsed softly in harmony with the ship's hum. It no longer seemed lonely. It had found allies, humans who would listen, learn, and act. Captain Mora spoke quietly, almost to herself. We have been chosen not by power, but by trust. Rian nodded. And trust is stronger than any weapon. The creature blinked slowly, as if acknowledging their words. As cycles passed, the crew continued to learn from the Guardian. Complex star language patterns were decoded. Navigation paths were confirmed. Warnings were understood. Humanity's understanding of cosmic forces deepened. Yet the crew never forgot the lessons of humility. They knew that space was vast and dangers remained beyond their current knowledge. But they also knew that with guidance, respect, and careful observation, they could survive and help others survive. The Aurora's promise became a symbol, a vessel carrying knowledge, guidance, and responsibility across uncharted stars. Rian often stood at the observation deck, the creature at his side. He watched the stars and whispered, "We are ready. We will protect. We will guide. We will remember." The creature tapped the glass softly, like an echo of agreement. In the final hours before leaving the sector entirely, the crew gathered for one last observation. The memory core projected a soft glow, showing star paths, drained systems, and collector movements. The creature lay at the center, a living guardian amidst the knowledge it had preserved for centuries. Alara whispered to Ryan, "We are witnessing history and creating it at the same time." The Guardian's race lived to preserve life. Now we will too, Ryan smiled, and the stars will remember us as caretakers, not destroyers. Outside, the dark sector faded behind them, replaced by the light of thriving systems. The emptiness remained a memory, but it would no longer claim unwary travelers. The creature blinked slowly, its glow fading to a gentle pulse. It had guided humanity to a new role, protector, teacher, and guardian. The crew knew this was only the beginning. Ahead lay new stars, new worlds, and new challenges, but they faced the future with wisdom, patience, and trust. And in the quiet of the observation deck, Commander Rian whispered once more, "We will continue. We will protect, and we will remember, always." The creature tapped the glass one last time for the cycle, a promise, a greeting, and a bond. Its language was simple, its meaning profound. Together, we guard the stars. The Aurora's promise accelerated into the unknown, carrying knowledge older than most civilizations and hope brighter than any star. Humanity had not only survived, they had found a purpose that would echo across the galaxies for generations to come.